Got to count down and wait for like 3 seconds. We are live, the SMT podcast, September 21st, 2022. If you're watching this in the live, go ahead and do me a favor. Hashtag Livestream for me, all right? Fashionably late. I don't know about all that alternate reality. Sometimes just trying to coordinate the show is tough enough as it is, man. But anyways, we're happy to be live, happy to be here with you guys, spending some time on the YouTubes, doing this live stream in particular to just discuss a couple of topics. I will say that I prefer that tonight's show actually stays pretty open. I just kind of plan on having, a few guests or whatever. So things that come up and want to be discussed, I'm perfectly fine with. I don't want to, cap it or anything like that. I just want to kind of see that everybody gets to discuss the things they want to talk about. There are a couple things that I want to cover, obviously. One is the story here from Comcast. They're moving towards this multi-gig symmetrical deployment. It has me excited. Me and Dennis were actually talking about it earlier today. I know I'm not really the cable fan per se, but I'm a fan of competition. And if we're not careful about who we give our money to, right? So let's say like all this venom and everybody freaking hates cable. The fiber companies that we have been wanting, they'll become like what the cable companies became, right? So in my opinion, cable kind of becoming reborn with a fiber-like experience is like the best thing that could happen for the competitive marketplace. And, they're maximizing the potential of their hardware. It's obviously their infrastructure is everywhere. So the reach is the most impressive thing about cable. Now, if you get these upgrades, it makes it legitimate to compete against fiber. So I'm a big fan of this, and I'm happy about it. There's a story about Visible's customer service. I want to cover that. It's one of the reasons why I like to recommend Visible is because that cost, really low entry point, price point. But one of their weakest areas is customer care. So we can discuss this. And that's really the only couple of things I wanted to discuss. So anything else that comes up, Dennis, Dave, you want to bring it up, we'll let it ride,
media
man.
Piece.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. First, super chat coming in from Anwar. Thanks, buddy. He said, this is the super sticker. Baby Lemon looking up to our Lemon character standing in a superhero position. This I got to see, actually. That sounds interesting. So I'm going to pull up the live stream on my phone so I can take a look at this. Go ahead, man. Appreciate the super chat. Oh, here's one from Santiago. He said, how's it going, SMT community? Any of you hear about that iPhone 14 Pro camera bug with third-party apps? Not sure how that got past quality control. Okay, so thanks for the super chat.
Yes, I did hear about that.
Yeah, thanks for the super chat, Santiago. And I actually saw video footage of it, like video samples. It looks atrocious. But, okay, so you're basically saying it's not the native camera app that's the problem. It's when you're using some other third-party application.
Yeah.
Is that the case?
Yeah, it's Snapchat, TikTok, something else. But, like, Facebook and stuff like that don't seem to be impacted. It just seems to be, like, Snapchat and, like, TikTok and stuff like that.
I've heard Instagram, but, like, the main camera app isn't. And I've heard, like, I was reading a news article. It was talking about, like, you've got quality focus issues for whatever reason. And, like, some people were reporting, like, grinding, like, physical, like, a grinding sound in the camera. It's like, ooh, that's not good.
I've experienced both grinding and what's it called? Visualization changes on the camera. So I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have to get it replaced.
What? So
Yeah.
hardware issues.
Yeah, the thing that went viral, the what's it called? Camera gate, they're calling it, or whatever the hell.
Okay, so this is a confirmed hardware failure. This is not a software bug.
It's well, it is software related. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a software. Dennis, you're about to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say it is definitely software related. Whether or not it's having physical damage impacts, I was not familiarized with the actual physical damage that you're bringing up, Moose, but it's definitely a software related issue specific to primarily third-party supported camera apps that does not impact the Apple standard app that comes on the phone.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're saying it's definitely software related. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know about physical damage or grinding, as you put it, Moose, but like, because I haven't heard or seen any reports about physical damage being caused, but it's definitely a third party issue with camera, like third party apps that use the camera.
I read it on one of my tech news feeds, and I can't remember which one right offhand, but I was like, oh, that's not good.
When I went to the Dallas Cowboys game last Sunday, not a Cowboys fan, just letting you know. I'm just there as part of the, the free ticket experience, hashtag sponsored,
Yeah,
but I went on the Instagram app, right? Because I have a lot of family, that are Cowboys fans, whatever. And it immediately triggered the grinding, right? And what's happening, right, is that the image stabilization mechanism, right, is just going out of control. That's really what it is, right? Just today, I went to the AT&T store to activate my Apple Watch, right, the new one. And again, on Snapchat, it does the same thing, right? Not to the same degree, but it still does it.
Interesting. Super chat here, another one from Anwar. Thank you for that, man. Off topic, but I ended up not using my 75% off T-Mobile or 50% off Verizon AT&T consumer plans. Ended up moving my lines to AT&T Business Elite. Interesting choice, man. Went with the highest QCI, I think, out of all that, probably. Went with the priority. Could be a smart move in some markets, I think. You know what, Trex? You're onto something there, man. Sometimes it's best to wait things out. I know I'm not in a hurry to buy the phones. Like I was telling Dennis, man, it's hard to be in a hurry to spend $1,000, So it hurts when I spend that money, dog.
But Carlos
I was
going to tell you
out of his three phones, only he said the one with the most recent update is fixed it with it. So maybe they got a patch, Moose.
No, not yet. I mean, I can update to the beta on 16.1. But it's going to be an emergency patch. I mean, dude, they have like several.
But think about
teams.
it, Moose. People use third-party apps with camera features more than they use the actual camera app, right? Like Snapchat and TikTok,
Instagram,
and
TikTok, yeah.
Those apps, I mean, they're primarily for the camera. It's all designed for capturing photos and video.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if those are failing, how'd they?
Let me
miss
see if
that,
I can
man?
trigger it.
Let me see if I can trigger right now. Bro. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, people legit avoid Androids because of the experience on some of those apps. You know what I'm saying?
I wonder if it would do it on Pixel Fed. I bet it would.
Look, at the end of the day, it's on the third-party app developers.
Well, I kind of wonder if Pixel Fed would do it, because the fact that right now, at least Pixel Fed, you access it through the web browser through Safari. So I kind of wonder if it would do it.
I kind of want to move into a set topic though, Sneed.
Let's
get some pretty good ones lined up. Got DOCSIS Dennis all excited.
All right, let's do that one, man. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do a screen share, and then we'll just kind of have at it. I'll just read a couple of the actual factuals, just for the sake that everybody can get caught up to it. You just never know if everybody's read it or whatever. So I'll put it up here on the screen for the fine folks of the SMT Nation.
I can't read, Sneed.
I will frickin' read it for you, dog. I got you. All right, Comcast said it has completed a successful test of newly designed full duplex DOCSIS 4.0 amplifiers. According to the company, it is the final core element of the 10 gig ecosystem that needed to be tested to ensure 10 gig technology could effectively serve Comcast's entire network. Multi-gig symmetrical service later this year will begin delivering symmetrical multi-gig services before the end of 2023. What they've shortened and they call FDX was originally designed for network environments without radio frequency amplifiers. So the new FDX amplifiers make it dramatically easier to extend the benefits of 10 gig to every customer within the reach of the network. All right, so that's all their release stuff. It says they inserted the new amps into a network loop using DOCSIS 4.0 modems, a network technology that had been previously tested. They achieve speeds of 6 gigs per second downstream, 4 gigs per second upstream across a 6 amplifier cascade. Folks, I think we have a situation here where, a solid competitor for fiber exists without it actually being fiber. Obviously, fiber has much more capacity potential, but man, this is good. There are a lot of people who have Comcast. How many customers, Dennis? Comcast?
Potential or currently subscribed?
I mean, I guess we could do both, right? Because addressable market size matters, and then like how many customers they actually have.
If memory serves me, I think Comcast has something like 32 million broadband.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
If memory serves me, I'll have to double check myself with Googling to be more accurate, but that sounds about right. And then as far as potentially like pops that could potentially get Comcast, I think it's something like 70 million that could potentially have them.
So within, I don't know, X number of years, the entire network's going to have this capability, right?
I'd say 98% would probably be more accurate, because that's kind of what, if we look back at history of deployment for DOCSIS 3 and DOCSIS 3.1, it's usually 98% the milestone, with like rural areas eventually getting it many years after.
Okay,
and when I'm talking rural, I'm talking like super rural.
What do you think about the limitations of maybe some shoddy coaxial kind of ruining things, some older stuff?
I mean, coax, the people that talk about coax being like old and stuff, it'd be like saying like, yeah, what about that shoddy fiber that Verizon put in 20 years ago, back in like, the beginnings of the 2000s, right? And it's still fiber. Fiber's still good.
Was it known to be bad though?
No,
that original fiber deployment.
My point is that it's still fiber. Like, if the cable's still good, it doesn't matter what the age is what I'm getting at here.
Ah, okay. All right.
Like, the only thing that, like, the thing that would go bad on that cabling first would be the outside insulation layer, which, if it's underground, not probable, and if it's above ground, it's probably already been replaced. This concept of 15 to 20-year-old cable, it doesn't exist outside. If anything, it's going to exist in a person's home, because that's the place where companies like Comcast don't do like wall fishing to replace that stuff.
And the replacement could be pretty easy, right?
Yeah, it's cheap, it's simple. Well, again, Comcast doesn't do wall fishing for houses. That would be on the homeowner, right? Everything outside the house is probably new, and that's easy to replace.
Zero Cool is saying HFC circuits are the worst.
I don't know, man. Coax is tried and true. It's actually a lot easier to work with than fiber. It doesn't require like any fancy equipment. Literally, all the things that you would need to crimp and terminate a coaxial cable, you can pick up at your local Home Depot for like less than $100. Whereas with a fiber, if you're working with fiber, you have to have basically a $20,000 piece of equipment to actually splice said fiber together, because it's so freaking thin. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen a fiber strand sneed, but it's literally like thinner than a strand of hair.
I've seen
dude. I had fiber installed in my house, so I do.
Well, I mean, but like, I don't know if you actually saw the actual strands. You might have saw. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, then coax is a lot easier to work with.
We were getting fiber installed to my rural, like when I was a kid, we were getting fiber installed in a rural area or whatever, and the guy gave me like a foot-long piece of fiber and stripped the end off of it so I could take a look at it. It was kind of cool.
But yeah, no, this is exciting. You said 2023, it said in that article, is when they were figuring the Vita?
End of 2023, they'll hit some kind of like a major stride and get a lot of their network upgraded to it.
That's ambitious.
Yeah, it's going to probably, I think 2025 is more realistic to really, have a substantial build with it.
I think 2025 is definitely a more accurate threshold. Maybe 2023 they hit their top insert X number of markets.
100.
Maybe.
Yeah.
25, 50.
I was thinking more like top 50 PEAs.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2025 is when they do like the finishing touches. Like, I think it's realistic by 2023 people will start seeing the mid split. I think that's realistic. So the 200 meg upload that we've talked about earlier this year.
So Dennis,
Take this one, Dennis. Whenever you're ready. Okay.
Yeah. So aside from internet upgrades, Comcast has been having an interesting focus on media once again. In fact, Comcast is beginning in a little bit of a spat with Disney over Hulu. But to the chagrin and happiness of consumers, Brian Roberts, he's the CEO of Comcast, says he's going to stick to his faith in broadband. Do you want to scroll down a little further to show maybe some excerpts from Dan Ashir's article and maybe remove the ad? There we go. So apparently Comcast is interested in acquiring Hulu if Disney decides to sell the streaming platform. Right now, Comcast has a 1/3 stake in Hulu, and unironically enough, they actually had a higher share before they actually sold off part of their stake. So it's interesting to see if they want to buy it. But at the Goldman Sachs conference, Brian Roberts was basically trying to play it off as if they weren't too interested and were committed to their broadband focus.
I'm all for the emphasis and the focus on the core business. I mean, if they feel like entertainment and content is a part of their core business, then I mean, obviously it's worth exploring. Hulu, man, okay, so they own stuff in media. You know what I'm saying, Dennis? It would appear that regulators might have a problem with some of this. You know, what's kind of your take on that? Like, do they permit it, allow it, or are there going to be some concessions? Then they make them divest anything? Like, how do you think this will play out?
I mean, Comcast already has a third stake. I don't think it would be that much of a big deal if Comcast was to acquire the platform because Hulu doesn't have really any, like, original content. Like, it's not like whenever they acquired NBC Universal, right? Like, Hulu is just a technology platform. Everything that they have on there for the most part is just licenses, with the exception of maybe a couple Hulu original series, right? So I don't think there would be much regulation to go through, in my opinion.
It clearly is some sort of a re-emphasis on TV, because if you look at how many pay TV customers they've been losing, they must think that there's some kind of a profitability to it, just in a different form of content ownership, not so much content distribution, right?
Yeah, I mean, Hulu is one of the most.
But we watched AT&T, Dennis. They self-destructed under media purchases. Moose, talk to me, bro.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, right? Hulu does have a significant market share. Merging that market share with Peacock is going to be interesting because Hulu has some rights from Fox. You know, that deal that happened a while back. Fox, aka 21st Century Films,
aka Disney.
Now is Disney, correct? So there is some licensing, right, shared with Disney, shared with Universal on Hulu. I think the reason why they want to buy Hulu out this is what they thought back in the day when they sold off the majority or more share to Disney, was that they thought that Peacock was going to explode, right? Because it had The Office, it had Parks and Rec, it had all these exclusives, right? Peacock is not as popular as well, actually, Peacock is more popular than Paramount Plus, but it's not as popular as Apple TV Plus, which is pretty surprising, right?
It's also not as profitable. They're not making. Yeah. They're not converting into paid subscribers. Is the biggest problem. Yeah. But I want to pose a slightly different question, which is, going back to the downfall of AT&T and the downfall of Verizon and other telco companies when they've made a focus on media, do you think Comcast will run into that same pitfall? Because my stance is that depending on how the deal is structured and depending on who is in charge of said deal, specifically if it's NBC's arm, I think it could work out well because all of the logistical struggles that would come from that side of the media business would already be able to be handled by the NBC part of what Comcast has ownership in, which is the biggest weakness, I believe, in what caused the failure for companies like Verizon and AT&T. Like, they didn't have all the distribution and everything else that comes into play when it comes to those types of things. Like, they didn't have the relationships that NBC has.
Yeah, I feel like it could work, honestly. Like, Comcast buying Hulu, I feel like that could work and be fine. But if I were them, I'd get rid of Peacock or merge it into Hulu because, I mean, let's face it, nobody subscribes to Peacock.
I mean, I think you can keep both. I mean, they bought. It wasn't that long ago that they bought. It's kind of like Pluto TV, but it's called something else. It starts with an X. I think it's like Xiaomi. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Like Xiaomi or something? Not Xiaomi. Xiaomi TV or something. You guys know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's a streaming service. It starts with an X. It streams live TV channels.
It's not VIX, right? VIX.
Google Zumo. It's called Zumo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard of it. I just didn't know that it started with an X.
Yeah, XUMO.
This is new to me. I've never heard of this.
They bought that a few years back. It's kind of like Pluto TV.
Are they operating it, or is it just ownership and they leave the company alone? Like,
yeah, they own it, and it's being operated by them, and they kind of like left the company alone.
Is it profitable? Like, is that something that they report, as profitable income? Like, it's got margins and stuff.
Yeah, it's profitable, and it's kind of like I said, it's kind of like Pluto TV, and it's on their Flex box, and yeah, it's profitable.
Wow.
It has stuff like NBC, ABC, CBS, Bloomberg, Cheddar News.
Oh, so it's legitimate. They have actual content.
Yeah, and then it's got like other live channels like Hallmark Movies and More Family.
Dennis, like, I remember Go 90 for Verizon, and it was like, I literally only watched international football. That was it. The rest of it was just trash.
Yeah, it's got like 200 channels that are free to watch, and like I said, it's got a lot of stuff that like Hallmark Movies and stuff like that, and then it's got like PBS and it's got like Spanish channels too and all kinds of stuff. I don't watch a lot of live TV, so I don't watch it personally, but it's legit.
Yeah, I bet you if it was Crunchyroll, you'd be on it if they had
yeah.
I don't own a TV, and I don't watch TV on any device that I own.
Yes, Dave likes to sit in his hut and read books by candlelight fire.
Gentlemen, we really need to talk about this as like the last time ever. Comcast is not buying T-Mobile. This is not going to be a thing.
Hold on. At least he got the order right. If there was going to be an acquisition, it would be Comcast doing the buying. But
gentlemen,
but no.
like so when and I always call you guys gentlemen when Dennis and Zero Cool were going at it over this, I brought to their attention the market caps of the companies, respectively. Okay? You have to think about these things. Because the way it was framed before was that T-Mobile was going to buy Comcast, and I thought to myself, in what realm of the universe? How? I mean, T-Mobile had a hard time financing the Sprint acquisition.
Small fish don't eat big fish.
Yeah,
and
like, I don't know if you guys remember, there was like 26 banks involved in the loans.
And if you remember, I gave Zero Cool a new one for that. And then, but as far as the phrasing of this question, would Comcast buy T-Mobile? I mean, if it was like pre-Sprint merger, maybe.
Yeah, but and who's to say it's not going to get regulated to hell?
Like, but realistically now, I mean, every year that goes by, the concept of Comcast buying T-Mobile becomes less and less likely because anything that Like anything that they would gain from acquiring them becomes less and less relevant. Like if it was, for example, to get the Sprint assets, like the backbone fiber that Sprint used to have, well,
gone.
Comcast already has been deploying their own fiber, so that's gone. Is it about the spectrum? Well, every auction that keeps coming up and going by, Comcast can just acquire more of their own spectrum, and they can just use for their own intents and purposes. If it's about acquiring a larger subscriber base for their mobile arm of the business, well, every year they're gaining like 550,000 people. So like, do you know what I'm saying? Like every year that goes by, it just becomes less and less worth it.
And does Deutsche Telekom want to sell T-Mobile? Because from what I've heard, T-Mobile is like Deutsche Telekom's most profitable thing, and you don't get rid of your most profitable thing unless you have a good reason to do so.
Deutsche Telekom would not exist if it wasn't for T-Mobile USA right now. They would have gone bankrupt at this point if it was not for their assets in T-Mobile USA.
Hey, everybody get your tinfoil hats on. Josh just thought of something. Philadelphia FirstNet and 41 market, Comcast headquartered in Philadelphia.
If you read the next post, he said he's joking. But
I know.
Sneed,
I'm having fun, man.
Going back on the media buying spree, can we pull up the second article, which is from Reddit?
Reddit?
Yeah, I gave you 2 links.
I haven't read it.
Dude, no to Reddit, bro.
Come on, baby. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you.
No to Reddit, bro. That's where souls go to die, bro.
It's where all the best leaks and rumors are found.
Yeah, that may be true, but I'm
Reddit
just saying,
is fine depending on where you're at on Reddit. Some stuff on Reddit is complete toxic trash, and other places are actually okay.
Right. Friends don't let friends hang out on Reddit too long, though. All right, that's facts.
No, friends don't let friends use TikTok, but
right. Thank you. Or Facebook or Instagram.
Oh man.
Anyway,
all right, Dennis. Here you go, dude. Go ahead, man. Have a field day. Here
you can click on the actual article. There's a link there. There you go. There you go. It's not so bad.
Dude, why are you like trying to tease me? I don't visit this dump. You know, like I'm supposed to know how to navigate Reddit.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Yes, you are, you old man.
All right, let's try this again. Okay, Comcast wants to buy Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yes.
Merge with NBC Universal.
Yes.
All right, man.
Yes. Can you see the media conglomerate monopoly happening?
Sheesh, man.
If the government doesn't step in, yes.
Listen, this one makes a lot more sense because the Discovery spinoff did not go well for that company, and right now they're up for a fire sale.
That's
I don't know if you saw the stock price, Sneed, but the market cap is quite low. And Comcast,
which company?
The Discovery HBO spinoff company.
Yeah, what happened? Weren't they at like $17 or $20 once they spun off?
Oh yeah, and it's been going down ever since.
What is it now? What are we at?
I think it's like $11 a share.
Oh damn! Wow, so they'll be down 50% by the time they get to the end of the year.
I'm just double checking real quick. Do you remember what the ticker? Do you know what the ticker is for that? I can't remember. Is it WBD? I think it's WBD, right? Yeah, Warner Brothers Discovery Inc. 1220.
People got those shares for free, but it's like, damn, you're losing value, man.
1222. 1222 is what it's at right now.
Ouch.
$12.22. It closed at.
I mean, if people didn't get those shares for free, they'd be pissed.
Market cap is at $29.665 billion. So
I mean, they're still valuable, but like, what's wrong with the business?
They have a 102% debt to equity ratio.
Oh damn!
Ouch.
What's wrong with
like you have all the debt, dog?
What's wrong with the business? They have literally more debt than their company is worth.
That's just a yikes.
And unlike the USA, they can't just print more money to pay it off. But joking aside here, Comcast, for anyone that doesn't follow the stock market too much, Comcast has been just sitting on like a nice cool $60 billion in the bank, just itching to buy. A couple years ago, they were wanting to buy Roku, and they've been wanting to do other things, and that never really panned out. And now it seems like they've got a fascination with buying media companies. So I think this is somewhat profitable. And I'm going to ask the age-old question again of Moose, Sneed, do you think Comcast would be making a mistake if they pick up Warner Bros. Discovery Inc.? You gave them a pass for Hulu, but are you going to give them a pass for this type of
Is the content that's actually on these platforms valuable?
Well,
like, do
I would
people
say
want to pay to see these shows and stuff?
I would say the Warner Bros. Content / Discovery content is more valuable than what's on Hulu. Like I said before, Hulu doesn't really have any original content. It's all
Hulu has market share.
That's what Hulu gets you, is market share. You're paying to acquire market share. This, on the other hand, is paying to acquire assets, because Warner Bros.
One would argue that every big company always pays for market share. I mean, Verizon just literally paid, what, $6 billion to purchase 20 million TracFone customers, right? They're willing to buy market share, man. Proven paying customers. Even if you maintain status quo, let's say they never add any more studio content or whatever, you still have customers that are paying their bill, right? So maybe it is better to just purchase market share.
I've heard Discovery's content isn't really that good anymore, but doesn't that company have HBO Max or whatever?
They have studios, dude. They have movies and stuff too, don't they?
Listen, they got the whole time Warner. So they have the whole time Warner library. So that's classics like Looney Tunes and Flintstones and all kinds of old animations. They got all of the all of the DC Universe comics. So your Batmans, your Supermans, your etc. They got all that. They got all the HBO content, The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, whatever that new one is with the dragon that they came out with. There's a lot of content there. And then there's all the Discovery, like reality TV shows, the Mythbusters, a whole bunch of stuff that is on there.
I can see that being worth it.
I'll just say this, man. If they do pick up this specifically, they will basically have a complete monopoly when it comes to content creation. It'll just be like them and Disney. And this hasn't been talked about too much, but I've also heard rumors that they were looking at acquiring Paramount Plus as a possibility and eating them up too.
So this is going to end up being just media acquisition central. And these companies are interested in selling out. They're like, dude, we're not profitable. Let's get the hell out of this business.
Yes. They are very much interested in selling out, which makes it the opportune time to buy, because they're basically, like I said, fire sale. And Comcast, outside of the U.S., Comcast has already been making purchases with their subsidiary companies like Sky and acquiring like tons of smaller content outlets and different news outlets and stuff like that internationally. So I don't know. It's an interesting turn of events, but it makes some sense if we think about Comcast's historical business model, right? Like specifically with NBC Universal's acquisition, right? Like ever since they acquired NBC Universal, they were a content creator, and they do make a good amount of money from that side of the business as well with their licensing and relationship deals. And Comcast does love to be the all-home entertainment service, so to speak. We see that with their bundling that they used to push so hard.
Where do you put this in likelihood of happening, Dennis? One being like, highly likely, 5 being very unlikely.
It's going to depend on who wins the next presidential election. If it's a red president, 1. If it's a blue president, 4.
So basically, it's unlikely, under current administration.
Yes. I think that there's probably talks happening behind the scenes based off the rumors and stuff that we've heard. But as far as them actually going out and making like the verified like purchase, very unlikely. Because I think I just think there would be legal implications. Like, I don't think Comcast would want to have to spin off some segment of their business to make this kind of acquisition happen. And
they're going to want it as it's structured and with all the benefits, or else it's not worth it to them.
Yeah, especially because of the debt. Like
The debt, yeah.
By the way, this is crazy. I just got back. I apologize. There's no way this is going to happen. The only way it's going to happen, I'll tell you. Comcast is going to have to sell NBC Universal, like spin it off, and then they could actually not even then, because that's
Yeah, but is it worth it for them at that point, Moose?
Well, no, it's too much consolidation. Because in the U.S. we have antitrust, right? Anti-monopoly laws. If you're going to go from various competitors to only like a couple competitors, that's the definition of creating a monopoly.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the spinning off NBC Universal, I know stock shareholders would love to see Comcast do that. In fact, it's one of the reasons why Comcast stock has been going down, because they have that. So I could see them being willing to spin off NBC Universal to make an acquisition like this happen. But because if you look at how NBC Universal like operates, right? It's not like Comcast gets a special deal or anything on the live TV stations. They have to pay the same amount that other distributors have to pay, like Dish, for example, on the licenses to host that content on their traditional cable. So in a way, it's already operating in a separate business light. But I don't know. I think it depends on administration. The debt is a lot, but I don't think it would really scare Comcast too much because they have such healthy free cash flow. But I do think that it would probably be a bad thing to do. I think they should focus on their broadband business. I think they should take the money that they would spend on this and focus on deploying that DOCSIS 4 and expanding their cable footprint further to acquire customers, and that means.
Yeah, because if they took $29 billion and put it toward their broadband, like their cable stuff, they could do a lot with that.
Oh, let's be clear here. If they bought this, there's no way they would actually pay the market cap, because the debt would go against Warner Bros. In this scenario, right? Like the company's not going to pay 29. There would be some type of structuring where maybe it's the way a deal like this would happen is Comcast would probably trade in some of their stock, like as an exchange of money. Like they'd be like, you could have this many shares in our company type of deal and this much cash. That's probably how the deal would be structured. Or that's usually how deals like that get structured. We saw it with the T-Mobile and Sprint merger, remember?
Right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I thought this was interesting, especially considering the past, like I said, with other telecom companies. It doesn't sound like anyone thinks Comcast would fail, though, from doing this if they did get their hands on it.
Too big of a company. How would they fail?
No, I don't think they would fail.
I mean, we said the same thing about AT&T back in the day, though, too, right? AT&T.
Too big of a company, and they didn't fail. Here they are. Like, name me a company that could take on over $100 billion in debt on a bad mistake, and then still be a legitimate operational business just chugging along.
They didn't fail, but they got beat up by a local gang for sure.
There was a very interesting video that said, like, what the hell is going on with Warner right now? Like Warner Brothers, HBO. It's interesting, right? Netflix, right, just recently came out saying that they're going to have to consolidate their every single episode all at once, right? They're going to have to.
Is Netflix viewed as the barometer for studio operations?
Well, hold on. We're talking about the streaming wars, and who is the de facto leader? The Netflix, right?
Because of market share, but like one could argue that they have really dropped the ball on a lot of content for the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah, of course. Anything with a pulse, they sign and then they do whatever the hell that content is. I mean, damn, if they would have, I bet you anything, Hulu or Netflix is going to do an OnlyFans documentary very soon, and people are going to be like, "What the hell is going on?"
That would not surprise me.
I'm not going to be surprised, right?
God.
I'm not going to be surprised.
Moose, I hate to break it to you, but that kind of documentary already exists. Vice.
See? Oh, Jesus!
Vice
and who did it?
On it. Vice.
Yeah. Oh, on Showtime? Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
God damn. God. Okay, but that's my point, right, Sneed? My point is that anything with a pulse, anything with
is this real life, bro?
I'm being serious.
Showtime is like, we'll show you a good time.
Yeah, it was like we don't give a damn. Let's get some content in there and let's see what sticks. But my point is this: AT&T, when Randall Stevenson, okay, when the
Randall.
big man himself was like, we are going to create an empire. We're going to have satellite. We're going to have wireless. We're going to have wireline, and then we're going to have, dude, it was just way too much money, right? And then we're going to have Warner, right?
200-300 Empire.
It literally it's cue the damn Imperial March. Like that was the biggest company in history. Okay, when it had everything flowing and all cylinders, you only had so much capex for it.
Yeah, but Moose, a singular business can't operate like that. It needs like multiple businesses. That
Correct.
business needed to be 5 businesses.
But Chacha, check this out. Did you know that in order for HBO Max to get off the ground, there was some really interesting contracts with the creators of those old movies, old shows, and even new shows, where depending on if it's on the library, right? Like if it's on the streaming service, they will give you royalties. Did you know that?
Yeah, sure.
I need to find the video again that I watched very recently. I was like, wow, I didn't know about this. But the reason why HBO Max was such a success initially, right, was because everybody was like, I don't want to go to the movie theaters. I'm risking my life if I go, right? Because of COVID and the vaccines were not available, blah, 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 right? So in a way, HBO Max was a success in the initial pandemic because, right, they allowed the movies at the same time as the theaters, right? But the downfall, the counter argument to that is now you've gotten people used to, I don't want to go to a movie theater. I'm just going to wait till it's on HBO Max. Whether it's 45 days or 90 days, I'm going to wait, right? Here's the other issue, right, with HBO Max right now. Zach Love, the new boss, is like, we're going to cut a lot of content out of there and we're going to make it into like, we're going to lease it off to other streaming platforms because we need money. Dude, you should see how bad the situation is right now. The way that he portrayed the situation now that Discovery owns it, they're bleeding subscribers from regular TV, right, from the Discovery side, right? So that is also affecting their issues on top of the streaming service, right? So on the one hand, you have a lot of money being spent on HBO Max, right? On the second hand, you have Play Plus hasn't launched yet from Verizon. AT&T hasn't put HBO Max back on their plans yet. And then, I'm pretty sure HBO Max is being...
so, Moose, whatever happened to the international launches, the complete market launches across the globe?
Exactly. There's also some issues with
let's
Asia.
call a spade a spade. The service was flourishing under AT&T's ownership.
Yeah,
it really was.
It's crazy,
now it's
right?
like making a U-turn.
That's crazy that you say that, Chacha. That's the stank made it happen, man. The stank made it
flourishing. It was flourishing under AT&T because of vertical integration and the fact that AT&T just had that much more money that they could put into the upfront cost of producing content, right? Like the problem and paying for the royalties, right? Like the problem with Discovery right now, and you touched on this, Moose, is that a lot of that legacy content, they have to pay buku bucks just to keep it on the platform. Yep. Like, even though they paid to make it, because of the way those original deals were structured, they're having to pay royalties, and it's bleeding them dry.
Well, here's the irony of it. AT&T is a wireline and wireless business who successfully owned and operated HBO Max. But that's facts. Now they actually spin off the business. They get a dedicated CEO with a dedicated CapEx and a dedicated portfolio of tools and resources and assets, and they're dropping the ball. They don't know if they're coming or going or what the direction of the company is.
And you know why they're gonna? So this video, I'm gonna have to send it to you guys later. But this video that I was listening to, he's like, the reason why Discovery HBO is going to be making a brand new streaming service is because of those royalties. It's way too damn expensive for the new company, right? So they're going to create a brand new streaming service with the new contracts so that it's more sustainable. And I was like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, this is blasphemous, man. Straight up Stephen A status. Because look, there was a movie, this is like infamous now. There was a movie called Batgirl, right? That was already in final post-production and almost ready to launch for HBO Max exclusive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they did not want to finish the movie, and instead they want to shop it around to either Peacock or Paramount Plus
So
or
they were
whatever,
going to go with the highest bidder, and that would be the
because
studio
it's
that
too
would.
expensive for them to launch. And I was like, what?
See, this is what happens when you get a bigger company's leftovers.
I don't think that's the main issue here. The problem is that they started out off the wrong foot to begin with. They start out with, like we just touched on earlier, 100%, over 100% in debt, which is just doomed to fail. And then also, more important is that despite owning the content, a lot of the content has those very expensive royalties. Also, one other issue that's worth mentioning as well, but you had a massive restructuring in leadership and direction with this like merging of the Discovery people into the new company, and the Discovery people, you know, they want to do their own thing, right? They don't want to say their own content was trash. They want to make that like leaning forward. They don't want to just become HBO. They want to be Discovery HBO with the keyword being Discovery in front of it. So you have a mismatch in goals and agendas combined with a massive amount of debt to start out, and it's just not going well for them. And a new streaming service isn't going to fix the issue either. They need to be leveraging into the HBO name, not fighting against it.
Now, a lot of people are asking, how does this affect telecom, right? How is this? So I recently took a Lyft ride when my uncle and, the family was over. And I asked the driver, I was like, hey, so, what service you on, blah, blah. She's like, because she was having issues with connectivity and she happened to be on T-Mobile. No joke. She was like spinning because her GPS signal was not working. So anyways, then she asked me, she's like, hey, by the way, are you watching the new Game of Thrones, blah, blah, the House of the Dragon on HBO Max? And I'm like, of course, right? Like, it's one of the most popular global sensations, right? This quote unquote the Game of Thrones universe. That's what they call it now under Discovery HBO. That's what they call it, right? There's like different universes. But anyways, she was like, yeah, I get it for free because I have AT&T fiber. I'm like, whoa, hold up. You have AT&T fiber. You have 1 gig service. You're getting the thing for free, but you don't have wireless. So the reason why I'm bringing it up is because regardless if you are on wireless or wireline, right, fiber, those promos of the HBO Max being free were doing some good. Even though the analytics said that only 40% of people actually took advantage of it, I think it's because people didn't even know, man. Because people just put it on damn auto pay and they never go into the app.
And hey, more important here, 40% of insert millions of customers is better than 0% of insert millions of customers.
That's true, and Discovery itself doesn't have customers. Not really, anyway. That, and let's face it, AT&T is not very good at advertising.
Yep. It's sad.
Anywho.
Wait, hold on a second. AT&T's not good at advertising? Hold on, bro. We got
AT&T's
Lily.
not good.
We got Matt Stafford. Now we got LeBron freaking James.
Right, what I'm saying, though, is like
Pete,
hold
on, Sneed. Tell me the last time you saw an ad that had Lily or LeBron James on any platform, because I can tell you right now I haven't seen an AT&T ad in probably like 6 months.
Listen, Dennis, LeBron James is on commercials with Lily. He's negotiating phones for all customers, new and existing. Moose, talk to him.
Yeah, so these are really hot ads right now. So we have LeBron James on one corner, okay, doing the James, okay, doing the LBJ. Then we have Chicharito for the Mexicans.
Oh yeah, you
Dude,
got
this
Chicharito, bro.
guy,
Mexico.
this guy is
Yeah.
big time because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Guess what? In just a few more weeks, the World Cup is starting.
Yep.
So this is big primetime season right now. Okay, Chicharito is a legend in Mexican football and also,
huge.
nationwide Mexico. So why do you think they're bringing him in? Because two networks, two countries, one network, right?
Yeah, but
the same.
Moose, you're missing
Yeah,
you're missing the critical thing that I'm addressing here.
yeah.
The ad, as you said, might be legendary, but the ad means nothing if it doesn't become presented to me. I legitimately haven't seen the LeBron ad and would not have known about it if you didn't tell me. Just now, this is news to me that there's a LeBron ad with what's the girl's name? Lily. This is all new to me. I haven't seen it. I haven't heard about it from anybody in my circles. It didn't show up when I was watching the Steeler game when they were playing the Bengals on YouTube TV the previous Sunday ago, and I would consider that primetime ad time for AT&T to do something.
So Dennis just wants to see LeBron and Lily go on a date.
No, missing the point. I'm saying that, for comparison, that Steeler game I just mentioned, right? I think I saw 8 T-Mobile ads during that one Steeler game. I may have saw 2 Verizon ads during that Steeler game, and I think I even saw 2 Comcast ads. I did not see any AT&T ads.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, AT&T doesn't seem like they advertise.
Or if they do, they're not doing it in efficient channels. I don't see any AT&T ads on social media. Like when I'm on Reddit, I don't see any AT&T ads. Like I just mentioned on live TV.
AT&T has a strong presence during the NCAA tournament. They have a strong presence, during certain types of sporting events. Certain seasons, you can see their ads more in rotation. I mean, nobody's beating T-Mobile. Let's call a spade here. When it comes to marketing, sometimes I think their marketing is better than their network. Everything that they do, marketing-wise, is a hit. It works. It resonates. People remember it. They see it. It's effective. You know what I mean? Holding Verizon and AT&T to the T-Mobile marketing standard, they're in a class of their own, man.
I mean, I'm not even trying to hold them up to that high. I would at least like to see them to the Comcast standard.
Dennis, I sent you the link so you can watch it about the LeBron James commercial.
You sent to me on what, iMessage?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I was going to say, maybe AT&T should be at least
AT&T's
Verizon
pretty
standard.
straightforward about their 5G network advertise. It's fast, secure. What is it, Moose?
Fast, reliable, secure.
Fast, reliable, and they keep it simple, stupid, simple, and they
Yeah,
roll
but Sneak, can I ask you a question? If you were to go onto the street and talk to 5 random people and ask, "Hey, what is AT&T slogan or what does AT&T stand for?" Do you think you would actually get that answer? The answer is no.
No.
Yeah, meanwhile, for counterpoint, if I go up to 5 random people in Pittsburgh, even if they don't have T-Mobile, and I ask them, what does T-Mobile stand for? Or what's their slogan? Guaranteed verbatim, they will say largest 5G network.
No, I would say the cheapest network.
Nope, they'll say largest 5G network. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. It's what they believe. I'm not joking. I'm being serious. It doesn't matter if it's wrong. That's what they believe. The marketing is that powerful, Moose.
You know what's interesting, though, Dennis? I have a screenshot from a good friend of mine that they actually regret leaving AT&T for T-Mobile. I'm gonna read how it the verbatim here. I messed up switching from AT&T, but oh well. My husband hates T-Mobile. We drop calls all the time, and we never have service. I was just talking about this with Sneed the other day. People have buyer's remorse. People have buyer's remorse because they are so brainwashed, the thongs and all this other BS from the damn commercials, okay? And then when they actually get on the service, you get what you pay for, ladies and gentlemen. You get what you pay for. If that's what you want, it's a cheap service. You're going to get not reliable, very, inconsistent service.
Moose, I'm gonna have to unironically hard disagree with you. I'm sorry. Um,
Moose kind of went in halfway there. Just
Yeah,
in case
I'm just gonna have to hard disagree with you, and the reason for that is because if that premise held up to be the truth, then Verizon would be the best carrier for Pittsburgh. Because Verizon is the most expensive, but they're not the best carrier in Pittsburgh. The best carrier to have in Pittsburgh is AT&T without question. So clearly, it's not about I get what I pay for. And then going one step further, I could get a tremendous experience from, say, Cricket on AT&T's network for a fraction of what AT&T costs proper if we don't start talking about the different discounts that AT&T gives to everybody with a heartbeat.
I've been in cities as large as 1 million people and as small as 3,000 people, and even as small as 500 people. And T-Mobile works fantastic.
Hey, Moose, we got a point here.
Yeah.
From Makeo. He said that's the point, Moose. The marketing reached the customer. It resonated, man. Convinced the customer to switch.
And there's one other thing I just want to say real quick, Moose, that's worth mentioning. But like literally, you could hear buyer's remorse stories from anyone that switches to any company. Verizon has them. AT&T
That's what I was
has
saying,
them.
actually, Dennis, when me and Moose were talking. I was like, this happens on all levels, right? Like, everything is so area dependent. Like, we could see that from any company.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be a coverage type of buyer's remorse. It can literally be like, oh, the customer service lady breathed the wrong way when I was on the phone. That made me upset. Now I'm sad.
And some people, it's like the phone itself. They're just like, oh.
Oh, yeah, they get a cheap free phone, like the freaking Rebel or something, and they're not happy with that phone or whatever. Like, look,
or like me in the AT&T customer service.
Look, there are legitimate reasons to be upset with T-Mobile. I have pointed them out before, whether it be the security concerns or how they get weird with the promos sometimes, or like there is like legit reasons to be mad at them. This buyer's remorse concept, I can't co-sign. Like, it's going to happen with any company. And I'm the guy that hates all telecom companies, mind you. People actually get on me for being too quote-unquote negative against them.
I got 99 problems, but my network ain't one.
Oh, no. T-Mobile's network needs some love in Pittsburgh. Like, let's not get that twisted either. But, like, I'm not going to fault them for buyer's remorse, whatever the point was originally. I feel like we got off the topic. I'm sorry. But, anywho. Moose, I'm not flaming you. I'm sorry. I'm just stating my point. And
oh, no, I know. I'm just saying that we've now seen multiple, folks that they go for the price, they go for whatever, and they get burned. A perfect example, my friend here, and I laughed at her and I said, "Well, you have a lot of learning to do in life, and one of the biggest, what's called regrets you'll have is that you did a impulsive decision before you really thought it through, especially because her husband works in the oil fields, and he specifically says that in the oil fields he has zero service from T-Mobile. So it is what it is.
Well, changing gears ever so slightly, does anyone have a new topic they'd like to bring to the round table?
I wanted to give some of my first experiences with Dish Wireless.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I saw that tweet you sent out earlier, something about updating your phone or whatever.
Oh my God, Dave, dude. What the hell is Samsung / AT&T / Dish? I don't know who's responsible for this, but like they forced me to get on a Wi-Fi connection to update my software. First of all, let me say this. I was a huge doubter on Samsung quickly and, seamlessly supporting their software updates for their customers. I was a doubter. Like they said, they're like, oh, we're going to continue to offer monthly security patches. We're going to support phones for several years. I said, I'll believe it when I see it, right? Well, I'm seeing it now because S10s are still getting updates. And, we're getting monthly security patches before my freaking Google phone, dude. I got the freaking September security patch on my damn S22 from Dish before my Google Pixel 6 Pro. What the hell?
Sucks to suck.
Yes, it sucks to suck. Yes, bro. So I'm aggravated. Anyways, apparently on Verizon and T-Mobile, this is not an issue. They allow you, whatever the firmware is, CVC or whatever that thing is called, they allow you to download your updates, software, OS, whatever. You can do it on cellular as long as the 5G is turned on. Even if it's freaking band 5, right? You could do it. But not Dish. I had to make a freaking mobile hotspot on my Verizon 5G ultra wideband at work because I can't do this stuff on my work connection. That's for work, bro. You know, me updating my phone, I can't be on the school network. They need the bandwidth for the kids using their Chromebooks and all that. So I was like, all right, I'll just have to do this. Because it was freaking, and dude, like I said, it was
pause,
it was
rewind.
like wonderful and then terrible at the same time.
Wait,
the Samsung's
pause,
getting an
rewind.
update. I'm happy, right? It's cool. And then bad, I have to be on a Wi-Fi connection because of the firmware.
Sneed, I want to rewind for a quick second. You said that the kids need the bandwidth so they can do their Chromebooks and stuff. Does the school not get like at least minimum gig internet from AT&T fiber?
The school doesn't have AT&T fiber.
Or
They have, I think it's Spectrum.
okay, insert Spectrum business class gig or better.
It's not gig or better.
Really?
Yeah, I'm positive.
That is hilarious.
Because I've stayed on weekends and I've worked nights, you know, where I stayed back to grade lab reports or set up labs or something, and it was literally like me and maybe 2 other people in the building. That means nobody's on the wireless network. The only thing on the network is probably, you know, just whatever's being monitored, right?
Well, I was gonna say it's hilarious, but it's not even funny. Like, are you sure it's not just some network management type thing where like each client device gets allocated X amount of bandwidth? Because like the reason why I ask is because a lot of times with franchise agreements, like when cable operators get to come into like a local town and stuff like that, typically public institutions such as schools typically get like free TV service and like insert X speed for free or
You know what you know what I'm gonna do tomorrow, Dennis? Now I'm gonna just connect an Ethernet cable to the laptop and I'm gonna run a speed test and see what happens.
That'd be kind of cool because my high school had gig at the time when gig was rare, and I think now they have the 6 gig service from
Dennis, anyways,
Comcast.
we got totally derailed. And
Yes, we did.
So
Dish.
besides this, I want to talk a little bit about the Dish experience. Okay, so Dish Native is a very unique experience. When you're connected to like actual Dish coverage, the connectivity is better than the AT&T version of the experience, right? So like AT&T is good, but the Dish AT&T experience doesn't seem as good. Like the latency is high. Like I have multiple speed tests where like AT&T is getting, 200, 250 down, 20 up. And then it's pretty much the same for Dish, but the latency is like 150 milliseconds when the AT&T is like 31. So like there's something wrong in the routing that's affecting the connection speed and it's messing up the latency. So when I'm on Dish Native, it's great. Like the latency, you're getting good throughput too. I mean, it's an empty network, dude. I'm like probably the only one on that site whenever I run a test, in all likelihood, I mean, when you connect to that like experience app, the Dish Experience, Project Genesis Experience, you could see like other users in the area. There's like 5 people, bro. I'm not even joking. It's like Billy, Steve, and Sarah and me, SMT. We're on the network. It's ridiculous. So like, again, the Dish is good. It feels really snappy. Like the latency, it's not jittery. It's not problematic. But I do see some really weird handoffs where it's like native Dish, AT&T back to native Dish kind of thing, and the network disappears and then it comes back after a second. They have to work through those things. It feels really beta. I'm patient. I'll continue to pay for the service and be like a beta tester, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm paying my bill. I bought the phone outright, and I'll continue to test it and I'll look for the improvements. But as of right now, folks, the trouble for Dish is going to be trying to seamlessly figure out, or I should say figure out how to seamlessly get the connectivity to be unnoticeable. So I just don't think that the engineering is there yet. Maybe Vegas is better because that was their primary market. That was their like inaugural market. Maybe it's going to come with time, you know. But if anybody out there from Dish is listening, watching, the Cleveland market has like tower handoff issues, AT&T DishNet issues. You know, that's how I would describe it. But the phone itself, dude, let me tell you guys about the Samsung S22. It's refreshing to get into a smaller phone and have a flat display panel, because all the phones I've been buying for the last few years, like, and I've been using, they've got like the, the rolled edge, you know. So it's kind of nice going back to a smaller phone, but the battery life is not great.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah, and then Carlos, it does get hot on SA. That's true.
Hey, Steve.
That is true.
Just quick curiosity question for you, real fast. Is where you're at, is that actually officially a Dish beta market, or is it like unofficial, like you got the phone by having to put in a different address type? I'm just curious.
No, I put my home address and yeah.
Okay, I was just asking for confirmation purposes. Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to when I get to try it in Pittsburgh, because based off what I've heard and seen, Dish has been putting up their equipment on basically every AT&T site, and AT&T has tremendous service here. So it makes me believe that Dish should have tremendous service, assuming that all things are created equal.
Yeah, I think for people who plan on using, Project Genesis or Dish as their primary, I wouldn't make that commitment until you get at least a full month of testing as a secondary, and then make that evaluation.
Oh, Dish will never be my primary. Never.
Dude, I'm telling you, when it's native and you hang on to that native site, it's really snappy.
I'll never say never, but I have my high extreme doubts that it would ever be my primary, because I have serious concerns about Dish.
I mean, they have the guts of what T-Mobile has in the 600 megahertz. They've got a ton of AWS. They've got standalone networking on their side. They'll always be the first to certain things. At least for the foreseeable future, like the next 2-3 years. And there's some things that they can do, folks. So I'm gonna wait. I'm not casting my final evaluation of the network. I've literally been using it for like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, but Steve, being first doesn't inherently mean better, right? Like T-Mobile was first to a lot of things in the LTE era because they were last of the party to deploy LTE, right? But it didn't mean they were automatically better.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But it allows them a chance to get out and ahead and do things differently. Because here's the thing, Dennis, like doing 5G standalone gives them an edge in that they don't have old LTE legacy stuff that they have to cling on to and continue to support, right? So like to me, it's their opportunity to write the book for 5G standalone,
Yeah, I guess.
And look, they'll kick down some doors, and they're gonna do some things differently, and we're rooting for them and we're supporting them in that sense. We want them to innovate, and we want new, and we want exciting, and we want fresh takes on things, and I'm giving them my money. That's why I feel like I can evaluate them from the first week I've had them. I found some things that they need to improve, and that would be my message to their engineers. That's what I'm experiencing here. So if they're listening, if they want to make a change, that's what I'm noticing,
Personally, I think for the foreseeable future, unless things really get messed up, I think T-Mobile and AT&T will stick to being my primary lines. T-Mobile because, well, I've been with them since 2013, and AT&T because they're just all reliable.
I will tell you, PA Tech, I've never connected to a T-Mobile site. Yeah, it's only connected to AT&T or native Dish.
Is that a good thing that you've never connected to it, or a bad thing?
Well, no, I assume that they have the access for both, right? So like maybe it could happen, but
I'm assuming it's really low priority. Like it might be possible, but it would only be like in like this is literally the only freaking thing we can find kind of scenario.
you know what I'll do for you, Robert Brown? I will tomorrow create a hotspot on my Boost Infinite or Project Genesis line, and I'll run it on a hotspot all day. Connect all my other two devices on it and just chew up hotspot data. Los says T-Mobile's last resort.
You should try going in. I don't know if you can do this on the phone or not, since it's carrier locked or whatever. But you might try going in and doing the whole band disabling thing and disable everything except for band 12. Well, no, because AT&T is 17, so that might be considered 12 too. So that might not work either.
There's no 17 here in Ohio.
It's all broadcasted as 12 over there. It's been converted.
Yeah. So you won't see 17 anymore.
That wouldn't work anyway then, because it wouldn't connect to T-Mobile band 12. Well, I guess you could do 71.
Dude, T-Mobile band 12 is like 5 megahertz, bro. It's bad.
You could try disabling everything on the phone except for 71 and see if it will connect to T-Mobile then.
You're overcomplicating it. You're just do 71 and 41 and then 41. And you can also throw in some 66 in the mix.
Well, wouldn't 66 connect it to AT&T?
Sure
Okay,
would.
41 and 71 then would be good.
Connected to only 41 and 71, then it might force it to use T-Mobile if it's going to do it at all.
Or you could just go into the turn off auto find or whatever and just manually select the what do you call it for T-Mobile? It's like 3,
Nah, bro, I ain't gonna be torrenting, Los. You know me, dog. I use my phones like a normal human being. I'm not a heathen.
The 310 260.
Hey, listen, man. There's nothing wrong with riding the high seas if it's content that's geo-restricted and can't be found in your country due to licensing.
No, he's saying
stupid.
Don't blow it up. Like,
Arrgh.
Ho, ho, ho. The pirate life is free. Ho, ho, ho. Pirate life's for me.
I'm thinking of the song that's called that says "We Are the Robot Pirates."
Band lock does work.
Does it lock? Does it work on? Would it work on the Dish phone since is it carrier locked? Because I don't think the carrier locked phones will let you do that, will they?
They will. It works on my it works on my T-Mobile phone. It works on my Verizon phone with the proper downloaded firmware. Well, firmware is the wrong word here, but there's a thing on Reddit that I did.
I don't understand why band locking is not in AOSP.
A what?
I don't understand why band locking isn't in the Android open source project, the main Android code. Like, because it's in Samsung, because you could dial that one code or whatever and get to it. But like in a stock, like a stock Android, like a Pixel or like a Nokia or Motorola or something like that, you can't band lock without getting without doing root and then getting what's the name of that app? I can't remember the name of it right offhand.
Hey, so Sneed, since you've had a chance to test Dish, I do have a question for you real fast.
Yeah, man.
In the hierarchy of performance, right? Like if you had to rank like Dish versus say Verizon, AT&T and T-Mobile in your market, where do they fall? Like, are they better than T-Mobile? Are they better than AT&T proper? Like, where do they fall?
In terms of speed testing, I mean they're pretty much just like the other carriers. It feels a lot like AT&T when it comes to like speed testing. I did a audio call with you today, Dennis.
Yep, sounded like AT&T.
Sounded like AT&T, right? So
what about like the actual coverage, like native Dish?
Yeah, it feels a lot like AT&T. Feels like their tower density. Feels like their uplink. It has a lot of those same characteristics and qualities.
Okay.
Verizon does really well here because of their density. So they're like the one carrier that I feel has like the ultimate tower handoff situation because of that density, and they do a lot of small cells and stuff. So they're the one company that feels different regardless of where you are. You get that really nice tower density. T-Mobile's like, if you're within a mile of the site, it's like ultra fast, right? Like you're getting N41, it's really fast. And then once you're off once you're on the edge of N41, your uplink falls off the planet, and that's really the only trouble I see. N71 has better uplink than N41 here.
I'm
Right?
not surprised
So,
at that.
yeah, so like that's the one thing I could say that's nice about Dish having that AT&T support is like if their native isn't holding it down, they're handing off to a network that's very capable, at least here. So to me, I mean, they just probably got to iron out that whole like tower handoff situation when it's non-native coverage. So I don't know. I'm kind of happy with it so far. Like my expectations, I think are realistic. Like I know that there could be some hiccups and I know that there could be some disconnects. So I'm like anticipating it. But so far, the data speeds have actually been pretty good. I want to do a video call, so I'll probably call you tomorrow, Dennis. All right, hit you up on Duo. All right.
Ooh, okay.
And then I don't know. Maybe I'll try a live stream.
Have you tried testing out RCS?
Have I tried testing RCS?
Yeah, seeing if Dish is playing nicely with RCS because we know AT&T had some issues on Samsung with RCS support.
I'll definitely do that. So yeah, expect some texting from me once I enable that on the messaging app.
You'll have to text me on my Android phone, which I'll have
You got
to
it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just let me know what you want me to, the number and stuff. I got you.
All right.
Yeah, we'll do it, dog.
Tonight. Oh, wait.
Josh is saying the RCS works. That's cool. But here's the thing, Dennis. Like, if it's not Dish native, it's not really what I want. I have AT&T. I have great AT&T. Like, I've got QCI 7 AT&T. I've got Lowe's Blue. It's not what I need in my life. I have the AT&T side. So I want to see them continue to build out their tower sites, and be on their SA core and, use that connection.
That feels like the saddest rejection in the world. Like, sorry, Dish, it just ain't what I need.
Sorry, Dish, you're just not doing it for me.
But in other news, has T-Mobile finally gotten a little bit better for you over in your market now that we've given it some time?
What is it, Dennis?
Has T-Mobile gotten any better for you in your market now that we've given it some time?
They're upgrading, but like slowly. I haven't seen much new N41 sites. It's mostly the same. My tower site is the newest one that's near me. But I got an update. I got some testing that I just did, and it's not.
Oh,
it's
by
not
the way,
getting better, bro.
I'm seeing standalone N41 now. I sent an email to Sneed with some speed tests.
Yeah, that was pretty
probably
cool.
a week or two ago. But
Is
I'm
it
really
painful?
starting. No, actually, it's really good.
Because standalone gives me great pain.
No, it's really good actually. Like when I connect standalone N41, I'm like, holy crap.
Sneed, fun fact, and this is totally unironic, my T-Mobile experience has actually been better recently, but it's not because T-Mobile got better per se, but because iOS 16 got better with deciding what tower to hold on to. Specifically, I've noticed that my iPhone tends to drop off of 5G UC more frequently, which is actually a blessing. Because when it does that, it tends to like to connect to LTE a lot of times. Instead of like staying on like 5G SA or doing anything stupid, it likes to just drop down to LTE, which both A, saves me battery, but B, LTE tends to be pretty, relatively speaking, capacitive. Like band 66 carry-agged with band 2, carry-agged with with 12, or in certain instances where there's still maybe a Sprint keep site here or there, where it's like 2 carrier aggregations of band 41. It's been pretty good.
I live on T-Mobile standalone. Like that's
I loathe T-Mobile standalone. If I'm on T-Mobile standalone, it means that basically nothing works correctly and calls drop. If I'm on LTE, calls are stable, but it's going to sound really bad because it's probably going to drop me on the band 12. And if I'm on NSA 5G, where my call is connecting over band 71, call's probably going to sound decent, but my data throughput is going to be very, very slow.
So the only time I go back to LTE is actually to pay my phone bill, because I do the whole call-in phone system, and I cannot make outgoing calls on SA right now. I can receive calls. Like if you called me, I could pick up the phone, talk to you for hours and hours and hours, and it'd be fine. But if you hung up and I tried to call you back, I can't call you back. So other than making a telephone call, I'm on standalone all the time.
Yeah, Santiago, that's my experience with standalone here over in Pittsburgh. It's because in order for you to be on standalone, well, it means you're going to only have band 41 and band 71. And in my unfortunate circumstance, T-Mobile primarily only has 5 megahertz of NR71 up on air. So I lose out on all the other potential capacity that is on the LTE side, like band 2 and band 66.
I've got 10 of 71, and I'm not sure what the 41 bandwidth is.
Dude, 10 megahertz of band 71 is absolutely life-changing and game-changing. When I was getting blood work done over in Chippewa, T-Mobile upped band 71 from 5 to 10 megahertz over there, and the uplink is tremendously better, and the download speed was also very good.
Yep, like I'm getting like 50 down here.
Legitimately, if T-Mobile would just do 10 megahertz of band 71 across the whole Pittsburgh footprint, like, I don't care if it's on the LTE side or 5G side, whichever one they want to choose, I honestly think it would solve a lot of their problems, since I don't see them fixing the density issue. But if they would just fix that issue by adding more low band, I think it'd be great. All right. But we covered all the topics well before, and now we're just rambling. I think it's about time that we put an end to tonight's show. But before I do, I want to thank everyone that super chatted and supported this, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sneed. Shortwave Surfer, great talking to you.
Yeah.
And for anyone that's hungry for more content, I'm going to be doing a stream tomorrow on best phone plans. It'll be an hour long for everyone to watch. And we got some pretty great topics that we didn't cover on this show that I recommend that you check out with Stetson. And then for people that are part of the Patreon, there'll be a 30-minute extra content where we'll be talking about some birthday escapades as well as a few other little tidbits here and there. But with that being said, ending it with the old school peace. Peace, everyone.
Peace.